Liam had never been a morning person. His life followed a predictable pattern: stay up too late, groggily roll out of bed in the morning, and stumble into the kitchen to feed his cat, Whiskers, before he even considered making coffee. But today felt different. Even before he opened his eyes, something was off. There was silence. Not the peaceful kind, but the eerie, unnatural kind. The city outside his window, usually humming with life, the sound of honking horns, distant chatter, and morning deliveries, was utterly still. He groaned, rubbed his face, and rolled out of bed. Maybe it was a holiday? No, that didn't make sense. He would have remembered. Shuffling toward the kitchen, he expected to find Whiskers impatiently waiting for breakfast, as he did every morning, meowing dramatically as if he had been starved for days. But the cat bowl was untouched. That was weird. Whiskers never missed breakfast. The cat's internal clock was more reliable than any alarm. Liam frowned, walking to the window. The street below was empty. No cars, no people, no sign of life whatsoever. It looked like the aftermath of an apocalypse, but the buildings were still standing, and nothing appeared damaged, just abandoned. Something in his gut told him to check the news. He grabbed his phone, half expecting some kind of emergency alert. Instead, every single news website, every social media feed, every channel on his TV showed the same thing. A regal-looking Whiskers, sitting atop a massive throne, a golden crown perched between his pointed ears. Liam blinked. He refreshed the page. Every headline read the same thing. Bow before our feline overlord. The age of man is over. The reign of cats has begun. His stomach dropped. What kind of joke was this? Some weird internet prank? He scrolled further. The articles weren't just nonsense. They were written in a serious, factual tone. Every major world government had officially stepped down. Presidents, prime ministers, and monarchs had willingly surrendered their power. Entire economies had shifted overnight. World leaders had given speeches declaring their loyalty to Whiskers. Even corporations had rebranded with new slogans like Whiskers Way or No Way and Meow is the law. Liam sat down heavily on his couch, heart pounding. Whiskers, his cat, had taken over the world. But how? Liam flipped through TV channels searching for answers. News anchors spoke calmly, almost enthusiastically, about the new era under feline rule. Experts debated whether Whiskers had always been a superior intelligence, or if he had recently gained godlike abilities. Some suggested mind control. Others whispered of an ancient feline prophecy. Scientists on live television discussed the possibility of a global hypnosis event, while philosophers declared this the fulfillment of the natural order. And then there were the conspiracy theorists. Some swore they had seen it happen. At exactly midnight, Whiskers had somehow ascended. Cities had changed overnight. Statues of Whiskers had appeared in every capital. Billboards had been replaced with images of his face. The world had simply accepted it. Liam rubbed his temples. Maybe this was a dream, some bizarre fever dream brought on by lack of sleep. He pinched his arm. It hurt, definitely awake. Then his stomach twisted with a realization. Where was Whiskers now? Slowly he turned around. There, sitting on the kitchen counter, was Whiskers, watching him. His black and white fur was immaculate, his tail curled elegantly around his paws. His green eyes, usually filled with lazy indifference, now held something else. Authority, command, the quiet confidence of a ruler who knew his power was absolute. Liam swallowed hard. Something about Whiskers had changed. He had always seemed like a regular cat, mischievous, aloof, obsessed with knocking things off tables. But now he radiated an undeniable presence. He didn't need to speak. His very posture made it clear. You are under my rule now. Liam hesitated, then, without thinking, reached for the fridge. Maybe if he just fed Whiskers, things would go back to normal. But as he opened the door, his breath caught in his throat. His fridge was fully stocked. but only with cans of premium, high-quality tuna. Shelf after shelf, nothing but gourmet cat food. No milk, no eggs, no human food at all. Dread crept over him as he slowly backed away. The city outside might have been empty of people, but it wasn't lifeless. He hadn't noticed at first, but as he looked through his window again, he saw them. Cats. Everywhere. Perched on balconies, lounging on rooftops, slinking through alleyways. They watched from every corner, their eyes unblinking. And then, as if on cue, the drones appeared. Hovering mechanical orbs drifted through the sky, each one displaying rotating images of Whiskers' face, his golden crown gleaming under the sunlight. They emitted soft, robotic purring sounds, accompanied by messages. The glorious rule of Whiskers is upon us. All hail the supreme cat overlord. Nap time is mandatory. Liam's head spun. He rushed back to his phone, scrolling frantically. The world was fully operational, perhaps even more efficient than before. The economy had somehow stabilized overnight. Productivity had skyrocketed. Despite a newly enforced 3-hour workday, crime had plummeted. War had ceased entirely. No one dared disobey Whiskers' rule. And strangest of all, people were happy. They weren't rioting or protesting, they were embracing it. The mandatory afternoon nap policy was widely praised. Sunbathing hours had been introduced in every workplace, allowing employees to lounge in designated sunny spots. Fish markets had never been more prosperous. The world was running smoother than ever. Liam sat down again, overwhelmed. How had Whiskers done this? Was it some kind of feline telepathy? A hidden power all cats possessed but had only now chosen to reveal? Had the world always been destined to fall under the rule of cats? His gaze drifted back to Whiskers, still sitting on the counter, licking his paw with a slow, deliberate motion. And in that moment, Liam understood. This was no accident, no fluke, no coincidence. Whiskers had always been waiting, watching, planning. He had merely chosen now to act. And no one, not Liam, not the world, had any choice but to accept it. With a slow, deliberate movement, Liam knelt down on one knee, lowered his head, and at last acknowledged what was now an undeniable truth. The world belonged to the cats now.